Not long ago, I did a piece called Death by Cop. I was addressing the Michael Brown case, and I drew upon the gunfight at the OK Corral. And believe it or not, I actually studied the gunfight from looking at clips from the movie Tombstone all the way up to reviewing the actual coroner's report concerning the incident. I was impressed by the professionalism of Wyatt Earp. And while bullets were flying, he had the presence of mind to actually shove Ike Clanton out of the way, because Clanton had opened his coat showing that he wasn't armed, which was incredible because he was the very reason the confrontation occurred in the first place. Previous to this, he'd been fined $27 for carrying a pistol inside Tombstone, which was a violation of the city ordinance. That's right, boys and girls. There were actually gun laws concerning the display of weapons, even in the Wild, Wild West. In this article, I tried to explain the rules of engagement when you find yourself confronted by a Terminator while on the way to McDonald's to pick up a Happy Meal. Well, Sandra Bland has now met this guy. Just in case you're living under a big yellow rock and miss it, you might as well meet this turd head. And you can meet him if you go to YouTube and you just write in the word Sandra Bland, dash cam, and it'll all come out. Right up until she was asked to extinguish her cigarette, Sandra was irritated but civil. For the untrained, Texas cops will always ask you to put a cigarette out. I was once told to put a cigar out and questioned extensively about spit on the running board of my truck, where I had to explain in detail to the officer why when you smoke a man's cigar you spit. Apparently he had never smoked a man's cigar. It's a cop thing. Anyway, after that request and Sandra's subsequent questioning about why she had to put out her smoke in her own car, the officer goes from 0 to 60 in about a second and threatens to light her up. Then he pulls her out of her car, and she protests and recites all those things you hear about on YouTube about your rights. He kicks her butt, breaks her arm, and when informed that she has epilepsy, he puts a knee in the middle of her back and says, "Good." Why did this have to happen in Texas? The Yankees already think we're a bunch of nuts. Oh, Sandy made some key errors. I couldn't make out the license plate on her car, but seeing as she was from Chicago, and they're probably Illinois plates, combine that with her complexion and that smart mouth, there you go. Now, I'm going to rag on this cop, but Sandy helped things out a little bit. She had a mindset. She was an activist. She was very aware of white privilege and racism and all that, and social injustice perpetrated on the blacks. She made videos about it, and I've watched them all. Well, there's a Texas term called borrowing trouble, and that's when you have the expectation of a situation, and when it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, where you go off like a bazooka. Sandy was the firecracker. Now, don't get me wrong, I like a woman with a smart mouth, but not when confronting a DPS officer whose compadres arrest citizens for carrying bananas in holsters. The situation downgraded from there, and a simple traffic stop became a beatdown and eventual arrest. Sandra broke protocol, lost her temper, and she paid the price. To put it simply, why should there be a procedure to deal with the cops in the first place? Why do citizens have to study classes to learn how not to get shot when receiving a warning ticket for an improper lane change? Look at the mindset. Ike Clanton, Sandra Bland. Wyatt didn't shoot Ike, and he hated him. The militarization of our police has given us a need for the procedures. When you're pulled over by a cop, you can forget all about that Bill of Rights. And arguing law with a beat cop will get you, beat. That's why they're called beat cops. Yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, it's racist, and no, there ain't no Santa Claus. Get over it. So they take her down to the old calaboose, and they put her in a cell, complete with a trash can and a liner trash can in a jail cell. What in the hell did she have to throw away? When I was in county, I was lucky to get a blanket. Anyway, she languishes for 3 days. On the third day, she refuses breakfast. That was a red flag right there. If you're in county, there's good news and bad news. The good news is the food is horrible. The bad news is there isn't enough to go around. Nobody refuses breakfast unless they have a mental problem. Sandra Bland, political activist from Chicago, 1,000 miles from home, working at a college, sat in herself for 3 days watching her life disintegrate. All hope that was generated by her new job, which was why she was in Texas in the first place, evaporated before her very eyes, and after reading her Bible, did what a lot of people do when they perceive they are at the end of their rope. She found another rope and got at the end of it. As a Texas nationalist, I want people to come to Texas and start a new life. I want people to find a good job. Why was she alone in her cell? Don't tell me there weren't other people in jail. You know, why was she alone with her thoughts, with no smokes, no coffee, no conversation for 3 days, as she fell into a pit from which she saw no way out? And the beatdown is a whole other thing. Pretty girl in maxi dress. Cop wasn't man enough to handcuff her without breaking her arm. She kicked him in the shin. Oh, Peaches. She wasn't compliant. I'm going to light you up. Put that cigarette out. Good. Gee, I wonder why Sandra was in a bad hair mood that day. Now, I'm a conservative, but I can't wait for the right-wing spin on this one. And here's my spin. Cop wasn't white. Matter of fact, he'd have to stand on his mother's shoulders to kiss Wyatt's butt. You do the math. A simple warning ticket, which would have taken about 10 minutes. The cop chose to extend this up to 52 minutes. And I've ridden with cops. Tickets. Garbage in, garbage out. And they do have quotas. Barney could have written 3 or 4 more tickets in the time he took to jack with one woman about smoking a cigarette. And if that's not racist, I'm not a white boy from Austin. We Texans will pay for Sandra with interest. This will make Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown look like a walk in the park. Obama may get a 3rd term out of this. And we don't have to succeed anymore. They're just going to throw us out. Not all cops are bad, but when we Texans come up with one, it's a humdinger. And they're out there, folks. I'm glad we got open carry down here because, as the Terminator said, I'll be back.